Alright, I thought I'd show you guys my Tonfa and Splitstaff build. I am basically done. The only thing that's really left is getting the inheritables and star abilities and stuff, but they kind of ruined Revenant trading, so I don't know when or if I'll have the patience to do that. But I have already recorded a video showing the build and how well it can pressure humans. It will also work relatively well on yokai. However, on yokai, you will have to definitely manage your key against yokai, mostly because will have a lot of hyper armor. And the problem with the split staff right now, I wouldn't be surprised if this changes, but basically it has a lot of really long animations that you can't cancel out of. However, there is one way that you can cancel out of it, which is with a Feral Guardian Spirit ability. Actually helps quite a bit. I think Feral synergizes the best with the split staff. I don't think you'll see any of it in the video that I enclosed, but you should be able to use it at your own discretion. Basically, whenever you're in a long animation, you want to make sure that you have anima so that you can get out of it and get some distance and iframes to kind of keep yourself safe. Especially since both the Tonfa and the Split Staff, they generate a lot of anima, so you really shouldn't be running out at any point. Okay, so the first thing is this is a Gunsticks Tonfa dating back to when the game came out. I have pretty much perfect stuff on it. I need to change the inheritable. I just haven't gotten around to that yet. You'll be using that to proc fire since it's imbued with it and pretty much will be procking it all the time. Now here's the split staff I made. I have purity on it. I have active skill key damage, which is going to help with Shin Crusher, and then I got a Shin Crusher key damage as well, which means as you can see in the video that I'll be enclosing after this, you'll see, or the clip that I'll be enclosing after, you'll see how quickly it just devastates, it just destroys Yasuke's key. Attack bonus Courage, and then the inheritable I'll be working on later. I just haven't really found anything good to replace it with yet. If you're not aware, the last patch they put out, the hotfix they put out a couple days ago, seemingly messed with inheritable trading or revenant trading. It seems to only work on the first New Game Plus difficulty, Dream of the Strong. So I haven't really messed with any of that stuff yet, but I think this is optimized enough to show the build. So the bow and the rifle are basically just stat sticks for the set bonus, which I'll be explaining shortly. And then I have 4-piece of the Red Demon set, which gives melee damage versus scorched enemies. So when you're proccing fire off your actives and the tonfas, you're going to be doing a lot of extra damage. Yasakani, it's not really the best just yet. I did get another one that's better, but it's still a real pain to farm Umbrasite in this game because there's no quality Umbrasite smithing text. They're probably gonna wait a while to add that, but it's got burn accumulation, which is nice, and then this has increases the amount of damage over time you inflict upon enemies. So with fire, you're going to be doing a lot of extra. More burn accumulation. Faster winded recovery is nice because the split staff takes a lot of ki. I'm not really good at Flux 2 yet, so I definitely have to manage it. Definitely helps when you run out. Then melee damage versus Scorched. Basically just an extra 20% damage. And then for Scroll of Demon, I have a couple that I run with. I have this one, which is strong attack damage and extended dodge and vulnerability, and increased attack on winded enemy, which means with the split staff, you're going to be doing a ton of damage with Dragon Dance, or just general combos. Dragon Dance really only works well on yokai, or if you get a human enemy like trapped in the corner. Otherwise, they'll get pushed out of it. A lot of the split staff moves are really janky. Like you'll do like the full hold animation or the hold variation of the move, and enemies will just get pushed out of it. The weapon definitely needs some fine tuning, but this works well enough for now. I also have this one, which increases melee damage, melee key damage, and then life drain on kill. I have another one down here somewhere, I think. Actually, I have this one with melee damage and extended dodge and vulnerability. So I tend to roll between these two as I see fit. But depending on your luck, you may not find one. Here's another one with winded attack. Apparently, winded increased attack on winded enemy actually does like 20% extra damage or something. Some people have actually done some number crunching on this. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I heard. I definitely have noticed a difference. So the Benzai 10's Grace is not really that special. You don't really see anything too great here until you get down to the 6-piece set bonus, which is versatility. What this does is every time you use an active move, meaning like Pulverize or the Demon Dance moves or Heavenly Chain, things like that, you will get 1 stack of increased attack power, and it increases up to 9. You cannot repeat the same move in the same stance. So if you use like Pulverize in mid stance and then you use it again, the stack won't increase, but if you use it in low or high stance, it will. So if you actually are pretty good at using the majority of your moveset and you've kind of at least decently mastered how to switch between weapons with the key pulse mechanic and the passive that's in the samurai skill tree, then you pretty much will hit the bonus relatively quickly. Someone said it's like 30 or 40% extra damage. I definitely have noticed a pretty massive difference. So you will have to pay attention to how many buffs you have. I believe the final one lasts for like 30 seconds, but I think you can refresh it as well. But at that point, you're going to be out of actives unless you're juggling through all your stances. And if you do this right, as long as you're not in an expedition against a humanoid boss with 3 players, the scaling in this new difficulty leaves a lot to be desired. They're definitely HP sponges. It's mostly the humanoid bosses that have way too much health, but when you're playing solo, you're going to be doing pretty good damage regardless. So you just want to make sure that uh, cycle through all your actives as much as you can. But since you're going to have both the Tonfa with Kanagi, and you're going to be switching into your Splitstaff to proc elements and things like that, it shouldn't be too hard. I generally hit around anywhere from 5 to 9 stacks of the buff pretty regularly. So for skill customization, this is what I used. Mystic Art Law of Largess. This provides additional hits. I don't know which one is actually better. I would prefer if this weapon had Kanagi, honestly, but it's your preference. I'm not really sure which one is better for this particular purpose. For Dragon Dance, you want to put Damage Boost Courage. On my build, I have Courage maxed out, so it definitely does help quite a bit. For Unruly Revolution, you're going to be using this on all stances to proc elements. So on high stance, I have it on Lightning. And then on mid stance, I have it on Vermin to get a pretty decent chance to proc Paralysis. So on large yokai, if you can get them paralyzed, then you can go straight into Dragon Dance via Key Pulse. For Shin Crusher, I put Masterful Slice. It's pretty no-brainer. This is one of the best key damage moves in the game, even if you don't get the just frame timing. For Ebb and Flow, I put Water. Shapeshift Strike, I put Reckless Slice. This move is not that great, honestly. It's a really long animation, so also they tend to get pushed out of it a lot. I think they need to adjust that. For now, I don't really think it really matters what you put on Shapeshift Strike. Serpent Sweep is actually a legitimately bad move. I think it's actually better to not have this on at all. I find myself getting killed by it quite often because I hold the guard and then I try to dash and this comes out instead. It's definitely the worst move in the Splitstaff moveset. I don't really know how they could improve it and maybe add a cancel point or, I don't know, make it do more damage or something. It's actually better to just take it off, if you ask me. Deliberate Slice, it's kind of nice to have the increased key pulse because you can switch off this. It does seem to have some invincibility from what I've seen. I definitely have dodged some attacks. It seems like the hitbox was still active at that time. So it's up to you. That is what I use. Ebb and Flow on Vloke stance I put on Fire, and then Twin Phoenix I put on Poison. Twin Phoenix is also a pretty bad move too, but if you want to proc Poison, there you go. And then for the skill tree, I maxed out this to increase the elemental damage of Splitstaff attacks. That's going to make you do, let's see here, 8% extra damage. Cornered Tiger is nice too, especially on this difficulty. If you take like one hit, you're pretty much going to be in red health anyway, especially if you're running light armor like I am. If you copy my build, you're probably going to be at low health a lot of the time, so it's nice to have that extra damage. Key can be nice too. Tonfa's pretty self-explanatory, just maxed out. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and cut out, and I'll show a video clip that I got against Yasuke, where I pretty much just had him pressured the whole time. It'll definitely show how well it works on human enemies. Unfortunately, in expeditions, it won't work that great because just their key and their help scaling is just through the roof. It's been one of the biggest complaints about this DLC is the scroll missions are really fun. You know, they have just bloody palace type combat, no gimmicks, just fighting, which is definitely the best part about this game. But when you run in parties, it can be a little bit overwhelming. It's not uncommon to have like 10 to 15-minute boss fights against humans unless everybody's at the same skill and gear level. So if you're trying to use this in expeditions, it may not work as well, but for soloing or just duos with somebody you know, be it on the internet or in real life or both, will actually work quite well. So with that said, I'm going to sign off. Go ahead and watch the clip to get an idea of how this build works, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Let us begin. You beat